Okay, I think it's time for us to get going on our last plenary meeting of the year. Okay, now, a couple of points. First of all, we are joined today for the first part of this by our staff members. At least we'll have some staff members here. They were invited for the first part that we'll be just handing over to Gretchen to tell us all about the new website. So they'll be here for that, and then as soon as those guys get done, then the staff members can leave. Although, if the staff members are wondering if we always have treats out there, no, we don't usually, but what the heck, it's Christmas. So we brought some treats today, and everybody is under the obligation to either eat them or take them away. That's faculty and staff. So the worst sin you can commit this season is to leave cookies there for me. I will eat them. No. So we have bags over there underneath the table. Bring them back to your students, bring them home to your family. I don't care, as long as that table is free. And I think, did the Ann Arbor folks get some sort of treat today too? Yeah, thumbs up. There you go, very good. So everyone's got a treat today. That's really good. It is a Christmas treat. We are exactly 2 weeks away from Christmas today. In 2 weeks, Christmas Day will be here. So the first thing I want to do is wish everybody a Merry Christmas. If you were hoping to see a Charlie Brown Christmas on TV, well, you missed it. It was actually all the way back in November, all right? You can still see it, though. If you go on YouTube, you can see it, the full thing on YouTube anytime you want, and it doesn't have commercials. So, yeah, that's a great thing. If you've never seen a Charlie Brown Christmas, and I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's been on the air every year since 1965, but if you've never seen a Charlie Brown Christmas, let me give you a synopsis. This is going to be part of my opening prayer, so it actually counts on the schedule. All right. When the show starts, Charlie Brown is talking to Linus and is bemoaning the fact that he does not really get the Christmas spirit. He's not in the Christmas spirit. He doesn't really understand it. It troubles him, but he doesn't know why. He doesn't know what the Christmas spirit is. And when he turns to all of his friends are no help at all, as you'll recall. Lucy, of course, is a complete cynic, and she thinks that Christmas is just an excuse for retailers to sell a whole bunch of merchandise. It's all run by a big Eastern syndicate, that's what she says. Snoopy is very much caught up in a big ostentatious display of his doghouse because there's a local contest for who can have the best outdoor display for Christmas. And there's prize money to be won, so he's very much into that. His sister Sally is a little bit more direct. She's just in it for the presents, so she's just motivated by greed. She doesn't call it that. She says she just wants her fair share, and she helpfully defines fair share as perhaps meaning 10s and 20s. There you go. But Charlie Brown takes a look at all this, and he rejects all of them. This is not what Christmas is about, but he still doesn't know. He gets the opportunity to direct the school Christmas play, and he thinks, well, this is a good idea because I'll immerse myself in the work of Christmas, and somehow the Christmas spirit will infuse into me, and I'll get it. But this is a big disappointment, too. Right? Finally, he's given the task of going to find a Christmas tree for the school play. And he thinks, well, this is a good idea. I mean, what could be better to get yourself in the Christmas mood than to actually get a Christmas tree, the very symbol of the season. I mean, it even says Christmas right in the name, So, okay, he and Linus go out to go search for a Christmas tree. And they go to a lot where they see a whole bunch of big gaudy trees, metallic trees and like that. And he walks right past them. He finds a very small, very, very, plain, humble little Christmas tree. And he's very attracted to this one. He thinks this is the right one. Well, Linus is not so sure. This is not what everybody else wants. This is not what they're expecting. This is going to be a bad choice for that. But Charlie Brown is very sure about this tree. Besides, he said, it looks like it needs a home. And so he takes that one back. Well, it turns out, of course, that Linus is right. The others reject that tree. As a matter of fact, they ridicule Charlie Brown for his poor choice, and they laugh at him and walk away. And Charlie Brown, in frustration, just calls out, "Doesn't anybody know the meaning of Christmas?" Which is what he's been trying to find out the entire time. Now, Linus could have told him at the start of the show. He's about to. He could have told him at the start of the show. He didn't, because then we wouldn't have a show. But now he volunteers, and he says, "I can tell you the meaning of Christmas." How does he do that? We all remember. He recites from the Bible. He recites from Luke chapter 2. Everyone knows the passage. And since he's Linus, of course, he uses the King James Version, and he reads this. "And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men." That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. And there's your story. You know, it occurred to me that the Christmas season is kind of a noisy season. Yeah, we have noisy traffic, and we have noisy malls, we have noisy parties, we have noisy kids. Yeah, I'm sure my kids are grown; they're still kind of noisy, but yours may still be in that really noisy stage. But it's good to recall that when the shepherds went to visit the Christ child, they did so in quiet adoration. Don't wake the baby; just take it all in. Just take it all in with awe. Hopefully, you'll get a chance this Christmas to spend some time in just quiet reflection on what that means. Maybe you're caught up in the idea that our world is just a crazy place. It seems very often very vulgar. It's violent. It's vile. Just today in New York City, some guy tried to blow himself up and take people with him. He failed, fortunately, but he sure tried hard. There's a lot of pointless violence in our world. And it's good to remember at that time that the original message is peace on earth, goodwill towards men. And that comes from God. Now, it's been said that there's no other place we can turn to for meaning except to the cross. The road to the cross starts at the manger, and it starts with the first lesson for us, and that's the lesson of humility, the quality of being humble. Because the Lord of the universe, the Lord of creation, comes to visit us and spends his first night in a stable, sleeping in a feed trough. You can't get much more humble than that. Now, God doesn't call us to just move out of our nice warm houses and into a stable to show that we're humble or anything, but he does want humble service to him from all of us. There's no better model for our lives than Jesus, no greater Savior. Thanks be to God for sending us his Son. Amen. Now I'd like to turn it over to Gretchen, and she's going to tell us all about the new website.
Thank you very much, Bob. Well, I won't tell you all about it, but I will introduce the folks who will tell you all about it and just share a brief word with you. On October 1st of 2016 is when the marketing and communications teams in Ann Arbor, Wisconsin, throughout the centers and our online spaces condensed into one shop, if you will. And we had a number of goals right out of the gate, and one of the tallest order goals that was given to the group was to stem to stern, completely upgrade, redo, bring up to snuff our website experience. And I asked them to accomplish that in about 18 months. So we're close to the mark, and it's done, right? I shouldn't say it's done. It's very close to done. And so today is an opportunity for the team, Michael Sapiro, our AVP of Marketing, who is on the Ann Arbor side, and Dan Baker, our Director of Online Experience, who's on this side, to walk you through the development of that site, give you sort of a backstage tour of the site, focusing on the goals of the project and the features that have been embedded into the work to amplify and extend our presence in digital space, but also to more effectively connect with the students that we seek to achieve and bring into our fold as students at Concordia. So I'm going to invite Dan to come on forward at this time. We're going to walk through the site together. It'll take us just a few minutes of time, and then in January, the site will be opened internally for Concordians to poke around on, click around on, try to break it. Do you mind if they try to break it? And kind of take yourself on a tour of the site. It will go public on January 29th when the students return from the winter break. So that's kind of the timing as we move into things. So without further ado, please help me welcome Michael and Dan, and we're glad to have you both here today, gentlemen, and show us the tour.
All right. Thanks, Gretchen. All right, ready for the presentation? So Michael and I are going to kind of split the presentation. So he's over in Ann Arbor. He's going to launch us off here. He's going to give us a little bit of background on our process, and I'm going to try to control it from here as he talks. So I'll try to listen closely so I make sure I'm on the right slide. So Michael, if you can hear me, go ahead.
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for letting us present today. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the values that we brought to this website redesign. The first being a value for future-proofing the website. So I would like to say that I hope we never, ever have to do a website redesign again. That's actually the goal. We're going to future-proof this website. The idea that you need to take every 3 years, scrap it all, and build a new website is an antiquated idea. So we're building this website with a mindset that we can iterate. So we're setting a good foundation so that as we get input from you, from our community, as we get input from different data points that we have attached to our website, that we can just iterate and grow and improve and optimize. An analogy could be if you think about Amazon, they've never done a big website redesign. They've just gotten better bit by bit, year by year. So that's kind of the first value we brought to this, and something I think you'll see as we start rolling this out. The next value is for community input. Many people here in the Wisconsin campus too were part of initial meetings last spring where we presented the information architecture and we just talked about what's important to you and what do you want to see in the website, what roadblocks have you seen previously. We're applying all of that to the design you'll see today, and we're also going to be opening this up after launch. So in February, the next phase would be opening it up for the community to edit. I know it's been a frustration not to have editing rights, to be able to change content that's in your own area. And that we'll have trainings on that, we'll have presentations on that, but I want to let you know that's coming. We'll also have a blog that is critically important that we all contribute to, just for the sake of making this a robust website with lots of content. So we want to have this be a community kind of effort. Next, we wanted to focus on the user. So the user being the prospect right now, the potential student. The very first thing we did, before we did anything else approaching this website, is we did a great deal of research from our own analytics. And we asked questions, how are people using the website? And Dan actually did just a tremendous amount of work analyzing this, and we applied those findings and also subsequent discussions based off those findings to the design you'll see today. But we didn't want to just do something like a lot of universities do, where the way they organize the content is, well, let's just reflect our organizational hierarchy, our structure. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to say, how would somebody think of us? How would someone think of our structures and try to navigate to find the things they want to see? The last kind of value brought to this was to have an emotional connection. We're going to do that through beauty. We have some tremendous photography we'll look at in a second here, but we're also trying to really focus on the copywriting, the videography. We're trying to make this just a well-done website that people look at and go, this is a work of art. This has an artistic sensibility. So you can see this is some of the photography that we recently invested in. We had big shoots on both campuses, and Emily Schaefer, who's here today, played a big part in that, and Jessica Heimerl on the Wisconsin campus. But we're trying to bring a really strong aesthetic to what we're doing and make this just a joy to interact with and a joy to look at. But without further ado, I'll stop talking, and Dan will actually show us the real website. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to try to keep this to about an hour. Is that all right? We'll see. We'll see where it goes. So just a couple of housekeeping items first. So we're building both sites at the same time. And because of that, our developer, Chris Halper, he's the lead developer and also the webmaster. I'm sure most of you have worked with Chris over these years. He's having to essentially perfect one site and then move it over and reuse that code and then build the other site on top of that. So because of that process, everything just takes a little bit longer. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the Ann Arbor homepage, right? So this is going to be the complete homepage with the Ann Arbor brand attached to it. And then the rest of the pages we're going to be looking at, another 3 or 4 pages, are going to be on the CUW side. They're not quite as dynamic as this one, but I think you'll be happy with how we've decided to display all the content. So that's one item. Another item is if you see any text that looks like it's fake Latin, that's called lorem ipsum, and that's just placeholder text that graphic designers use. So there might be some of that floating around. Otherwise, we tried to use real content across all of this. So the photos that you see, the videos that you see, that's all original content that we've either shot ourselves or had some of our partners shoot. All the copy that you'll see is copy that we have written, that copywriters have written, and that you all have helped us input as well. All right, so I taught web design for 5 years, and what I would do with my students when we were going to look at a website is I'd have everyone get up and come over to the display so that we could point at things and interact. Now, we're not going to do that today, so I'll just stand here and talk. But I'm going to follow a similar process. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of the main features of the site that I think are interesting, and hopefully you'll agree. So Gretchen and Michael both mentioned that at the beginning of this process, we were tasked with rebuilding the site from the ground up. So that's what we did. We literally just scrapped everything. We started over from the very beginning. We tried to use a very research-focused approach. So we did a lot of study on analytics. We read a lot of white papers on best practices for universities. And then we went out and we tried to find the best local design firm to help us kind of bring this new site into reality. So some of the things that you might notice right off the bat is, we're adding a resource menu to the very top of the page. And the purpose of this menu is for audiences. So that's one thing that our current site lacks, is for someone to self-identify, for example, as a student or a parent or an alumni, and to have direct access to those sections. So we've added an entire section at the top that allows audiences to kind of pick themselves and place themselves within the site. We've also completely rebuilt our search engine. And prior to this, we've been using a custom Google implementation, which is fine. I mean, Google's the leading search provider. But because they were providing that service to us, we didn't have any customization. So this new search engine, we're using some software that we have, and we're hosting it in-house. And it does some very interesting things, but what it allows us to do is create suggestions. So for example, we can push out suggested content to people, we can customize search results, we can pull up listings of like the most popular pages and the most used pages. And you'll notice, again, if you're familiar with the current site, we've completely eliminated all drop-down menus. And that was kind of a decision on my part because when we look at a lot of design patterns, something like a drop-down navigation, a lot of users find them hard to use. And in fact, one of the main complaints that we got on the current site is that people have a hard time when the menu drops down quickly choosing where they're supposed to go before the menu goes back up again. So we've eliminated that in hopes of creating just a better experience for our users. Obviously, we've got a big video playing in the background here, and this goes to kind of talk about the brand building that we're doing. And we're going to be pulling in a lot of content that draws people directly into the lives of our students, into the life of our campus. Prior to this, again, on the current site, we've got a lot of photos of landscapes, right? We've got a lot of pictures of the lake. We have a lot of pictures of bird's eye view of campus. But we want to make something much more intimate, much more relational. So we're trying to pull people into relationship with our students, with our faculty, with our staff, to kind of give them just a sense of the dynamic life that's here on the campus. So we're doing that with the videos. We're doing it with uncommon stories. I think most of you have probably been to our brand presentation, so you know that we're doing a brand with a focus on living uncommon. And so these uncommon stories are being written by our staff, and we're interviewing actual students, pulling you into their lives. Again, we're trying to humanize everything. So we had some stats. We've got a lot of stats pages, and a lot of that is just numbers. And so when you look at a number, it's hard to make a connection, make a human connection with a number. So we're trying to personalize things and pull you deeper in to the experience. We've also got a new campus calendar, which I think many of you are already using. We're going to be able to pull content directly onto the home page or other pages, so department pages, program pages. We can pull events and other calendar information sorted by category directly onto pages. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take you through. Again, we're switching sites now. So I'm going to take you through a little user journey. Okay, so pretend that you're a prospective student. You're a potential graduate student. You're looking for a master's degree from the School of Education. So how would you get there? And there's a lot of ways that people navigate our site. What we found, however, on the current site is that people have abandoned navigation altogether and just go directly to the search bar, which is fine. I mean, that's generally how Generation Z likes to navigate through sites now, is just go directly to search, type in some keywords. And so we've taken a lot of steps to make sure that that is a good experience. But if you're navigating through the site now, we've got landing pages for all of our major sections. And then we have new school landing pages as well. And so one thing that you might notice in the design of the site, there's a lot of horizontal bands, okay? And we're calling these modules. We've designed the site in a very modular way. And the goal there is to be able to swap out content quickly, to make quick changes, to do ads or edits, or add new features very quickly. And so because we're building things based on modules, it allows a lot more flexibility for design. And things like the school landing page, this can be customized by school, right? When the site first launches, the school sites will look similar. So School of Ed will look similar to some of the other schools. The page content will differ. Obviously, the faculty will be different and things like that. But the layouts will be similar. So what we can do is we can go in with these modules and we can swap out new modules and replace things to make them all kind of have their own feel to them. So another thing that we've added this time around is department landing pages, and that was probably the number one or number two request that we got from faculty when we were doing our original interviews. So what we're going to be allowing is for departments to have their own landing pages where we can list information, have program information, and things like that. Again, they don't have to all look the same. They don't have to have the same kind of content. We can certainly customize them to the kind of content that you want to see on your pages. The Department of Graduate Education is a single page, but I know that there are other departments. For example, the music department in Ann Arbor has an extensive website, and they have a lot of rich content, and we want to be able to preserve all of that. So this kind of page, this single page experience, can be replaced for a multiple page experience, depending on how deeply involved the department wants to get with our process. And that's fine, we welcome that. Another new thing that we've added is a program and degree search engine. And again, so the number one thing that people looked for on our website was programs and degrees. They all typed in certain keywords, they're looking for certain programs, and they would want to get there as fast as they could. And so one way that we want to be able to allow people to do that is by filtering their requests. So if you remember, our user journey was, I'm a potential graduate student, I'm looking for a master's degree from the School of Education. So if I come to the degree page here, I can start to filter it. And it sorts all the master's degrees, and all the other degrees go away. So now I can just look at master's and graduate programs. Then I can continue to sort by school, and now I only see the school programs. And then each of these also has a little preview window. So if someone is just kind of browsing, they can browse. We can allow them to kind of explore that way on a page without pulling them deeper into the site. We can also filter by location as well if someone's looking for a particular center location. So in this case, we've got just a little preview here. We've got some availability, and then we'll look at a program page as well. And this is the last page, so thanks for your patience. So this is what the program pages are going to be looking like. And again, so on the current site, we have a lot of similar pages, but they're not always designed the same way. So we've tried to bring a consistency to the design of all the programs. And what this allows us to do is set some expectations for the user so that when a user is looking and they're clicking around to different pages, they'll know exactly what they're going to see when they come to a page. So in this case, instead of having one long scrolly page or a page with a lot of subpages, we've added tabs to the program interface. So we have a program overview section that allows us to talk about the program in detail. We have got requirements. We've got career paths and theses. We've added an admissions tab to all of the programs, in fact. Again, we found that people would often journey to a program page, but then they would jump off the page and go into the admissions department website and kind of get lost trying to find specific admission information. So what we found was that providing that information right on the page itself was just a way to keep the user where we wanted them to be. We have faculty represented for each program. So if you're a faculty and you're teaching this program, then your information will appear here. And you can also click through and look at your bio. Now, one thing I should note is that we're pulling all of this information dynamically through the digital measures system. So I think most faculty, hopefully all faculty, are using digital measures by now. You're inputting your information. And this is where all that information goes. It goes to our website, and we can pull all that in, and we can put it wherever we want. So faculty will appear in multiple places on the site now. They'll be on their page that they're teaching. They'll be in the department section. They'll be in the main faculty staff search engine. We'll also, in phase 2, we're also going to be adding adjuncts to the system. Adjuncts are not currently part of digital measures, so we'll be adding all adjuncts into the system as well. We also have opened up the opportunity to add custom tabs. So, in this case, we've got some more program information here. We've added a custom tab that people can find additional information. One last thing I want to point out is that we are going to be putting request information forms on the bottom of every program page. And what this allows us to do is allows us to gather information from users. And so we're doing a lot of user tracking. It's the kind of thing that you don't like to think about when you're on the internet. We're implementing a lot of those same systems that that for-profit companies will implement, trying to gather user information. We try not to be creepy about it, but we're definitely pulling data off the internet. So when someone comes to this site, they don't have to leave the program page. They can fill out a form right here, submit it into our system, and now we've captured all their information. And I think that's it for me. I think Michael's going to just end up talking a little bit about our timeline and next steps. So thanks.
Thanks, Dan. So timeline, we're going to open this up to be previewed internally early January. So January 9th, we're going to try to give you all access. That's not going to be a launch date, though. That won't be out there for the rest of the world to see. That'll just be internally. So you can poke around, you can kind of look at your pages and give us feedback. And then at the end of January, January 29th, we're going to launch this out into the world. So that's when this site goes live. actually the sites go live. And Dan didn't mention, so we have CUW, CUAA. We're also doing microsites for international, for online, and for our centers. So those sites are going to be rolling out and going live, CUW, CUAA, at the end of January. In the months to come after that, we'll be doing web governance matters, so giving you all access to areas that are important to you, and doing some more additional advanced features that we can talk about, like that are tied to that tracking system that Dan was talking about. But that's the relative timeline for now, and thank you once again for letting us present today.
Were there any questions? Sherry, go ahead.
I don't know if we have too much time for questions, but yeah, so the site is 100% mobile right now, and we're paying very close attention to user context, because what we found is, again, on the current site, based on our current metrics, about half of our visitors are coming mobile only. Now, what we have found is that hardly any people apply to our college using a mobile device. Almost everyone's applying on a desktop. So somewhere in that journey, people decide that they're going to use their laptop or desktop for it. But yeah, the site is fully mobile, optimized for handheld size, tablet size, and a variety of desktop sizes.
Okay, with that, thank you, staff, for coming. We're going to continue now with our regular plenary meeting.